Welcome to Less Than 12 Parsecs, the fastest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. Now here's your host, Tim McMahon.
Hey, it's Tim. Now, at the end of yesterday's episode, I promised you today I would share with you my top 5 favorite lines of dialogue from Attack of the Clones. However, yesterday when I was recording that, I completely forgot that today is Friday! And as you know, Friday is always the day on Less Than 12 Parsecs where we recap and review all the Star Wars headlines that grabbed my attention this week. So as for Attack of the Clones and my favorite lines of dialogue, that'll come in an episode or two, I promise. Hey, the big news of the week happens today. Today is the day that Rogue One officially comes out in digital form in the United States. Sorry, UK, you got a few more days to wait. The disc will be hitting store shelves on April 4th, but tonight, if you want, you can buy it, download it, and watch it at home. Are you doing that? I might. Actually, I might not. I'm old-fashioned. I like to wait for the discs. I like all the extra stuff they give you. So April 4th, that's just around the corner. The other big news of the week was the episode of Star Wars Rebels that aired last Saturday called Twin Sons. Yeah, you probably know by now, and spoiler alert, Darth Maul is no more. Or actually, Maul has been known the last few years. Maul is gone, finito, dead, buried, pining for the fjords. So if you're curious what I thought about the Twin Sons episode of Star Wars Rebel, well, just scroll back in the feed. I did a whole episode about it where I gave my good reaction. All right, other big news this week is about the Han Solo movie. More and more details coming out. Now, I am not one for spoilers and rumors. I stay out of all of that. But when information comes out about a film through official sources, I do pay attention. So if you want to go into the Han Solo movie just totally blind, maybe turn this off right now. But here's what we learned this week at an interview at the USC Marshall School of Business, where his wife is actually the dean there. Bob Iger. I always mispronounce his name. Anyway, he said these things about the Han Solo movie that were pretty interesting. First, it will profile Han from the ages of 18 to 24. That's a 6-year span. We've never had a Star Wars film that takes place in more than a couple of weeks, you know? It's always the course of days, weeks, never years. Wow, this is going to be interesting. He also confirmed that it will show how Han acquires the Millennium Falcon. I better see a Sabacc game with Lando Calrissian. I want to see Sabacc. How about it will show how Han begins his friendship with Chewbacca? You know, I think we all saw that coming. And he said something interesting. He said it will show how Han gets his name. Han gets his name. People are speculating that maybe Han Solo isn't his birth name. Maybe he had another name. And he took on Han Solo as his moniker, you know, named himself when he went out in the world. Maybe his old name is carrying too much baggage. There's too many guys out there, you know, the Imperials are looking for whatever he was going by before. That's just a guess. Or maybe he just means, you know, how Han earned his rep. How he earned his reputation in the underworld as a smuggler. You know, he built a name for himself is a phrase that came to my mind, so we'll see. I did read someone online said, wouldn't it be great if his real name was Dash Rendar? That would be hilarious. All right, another bit of news about the film that came out of the mouth of Woody Harrelson. He was on The Tonight Show recently, and he mentioned that his character's name is Beckett. Beckett. I like that. I love it when you see some real-world names in Star Wars. Luke's a real-world name. Owen, you know, there you go. But Beckett is a real-world name, and that's going to be his character's name. Woody Harrelson also said that the Han Solo movie is going to be the best yet of all Star Wars movies, but of course he would say that because he's in it. Hey, going back a step to the Bob Iger interview, he did mention something else I found interesting. In reference to The Last Jedi, he did say that none of the scenes with General Leia have been cut. They've kept all of Carrie Fisher's work in the film, so that's great. There were thoughts and fears that her role would be greatly cut because of her death and, you know, how they would have to rework things for episode 9, but no, apparently not. They're going to keep her in as much as they need her for, so that is awesome. How many fans will shed a tear the first night they see The Last Jedi and Carrie Fisher comes on the screen? I know I will. But that's episode 8. Let's talk about episode 9 real quick. Colin Trevorrow, the director, has announced, well, it wasn't an announcement, something he said recently at the Sundance Film Festival is that episode 9 will be shot on film. I know episode 7 was episode 8? I'm assuming so. I don't know. I gotta look that up. Anyway, it's great, in my opinion, that they're keeping to film. Digital is awesome, don't get me wrong, but there is something real, something emotional about film that just, it draws you in. But looking past the episode films, looking past the saga films, we're looking at more standalone films in the future, and John Knoll, ILM genius, Photoshop creator, storyline giver for Rogue One. He recently told Screen Rant he has another idea for a Star Wars film. He claimed the idea is about 3/4 of the way through. He's just trying to figure out the ending. Once he has it all complete in his head, he will bring it to Kathy Kennedy and pitch the idea. She may like it, she may greenlight it and say, yeah, let's do it. Or she may say, hey, get out of my office, you crazy old man. Well, I don't know. So those were the headlines that grabbed my attention this week. There was so much more out there to talk about, but I only have a few minutes here on Less Than 12 Parsecs, the fastest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy. So I'm going to stop now. Hey, if I missed anything you thought was super important that I really should be mentioning, let me know. Email me at 12parsecs.podcast@gmail.com or connect with me on any of my social media accounts. All the links can be found on my website, 12parsecs.podcast.com. Thanks for listening. Hootini!
You've been listening to Less Than 12 Parsecs, the fastest Star Wars podcast in the galaxy, part of the expanded Fandomverse network of shows. For links and show notes, visit our website, 12parsecsPodcast.com. Follow Less Than 12 Parsecs on Twitter at 12parpod, on Instagram at 12parsecsPodcast, on Tumblr at 12parsecsPodcast, and find us on Facebook as well. And please let us know what you think. Email us at 12parsecsPodcast@gmail.com. Welcome